We're in this incredible era where we're on the brink of either absolute catastrophe and collapse, and I mean that and I say that with no exaggeration at all, absolute catastrophe and collapse as a species, as a civilization, or we're on the brink of a new era, an era that our grandchildren hopefully will look back on and say, wow, they did it. They pulled it off. They were the generation that made the incredible choices to turn around 1,000 years, 100,000 years of human history that has led us to the brink of collapse. And if we're going to pull it off, it's going to be because of people like Phil Angelides. When Phil was the state treasurer, he began directing the billions of dollars of California Treasury money in critical directions towards a green economy. As a businessman, as a political leader, as a visionary, he's really been at the forefront talking about sustainability and putting his investments and his energy and his vision in a direction long before most of us were really there. And that's just one of the reasons why we're so lucky to have him here today. Since stepping out of the real public spotlight of being in elected life, Phil didn't just back off and say, okay, I'm done. What he has done is really move forward, and he's taken on the chairmanship of the National Apollo Alliance. I'm lucky enough to serve on the local Oakland Apollo Alliance board and steering committee. Phil has really taken the leadership in the helm, and he's going to talk about National Apollo Alliance, which is a coalition of business, labor, environmental groups, really saying we don't have to be at odds, and in fact, we can't be at odds if we're going to have a future that works for all of us. And so with that, would you please warmly welcome our friend and our leader, Phil Angelides.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you, Nikki, and thank you all for coming out on this beautiful California morning. That was a wonderful introduction. I would have preferred the shorter, please welcome the governor of the state of California, but what the heck. You know, Nikki referred to getting the silver medal. I actually say that politics is not like the Olympics because there is no silver medal, and I never remember standing on the podium on election night. But President Adams, thank you for your leadership. To Nikki, thank you for your leadership for this great community college district. To Jack, thank you, and everyone else who pulled this conference together. And it's really my honor to be here at Merritt College. I mean, I just want to say, and this is a political comment, I mean, I love Alameda County. I wish the whole state was Alameda County. There's so much energy here from the ground up. And what I want to talk to you today about is how at this critical moment in our nation's history, from the highest level policies in Washington to community action on the ground, how we transform our economy, not just regrow it as we come out of these tumultuous economic times, but how we remake our economy into a clean energy, good jobs, made in America economy that puts us on the path to prosperity, that preserves our planet, and returns some equity of opportunity to the American economy. And while there's much we can do in Washington and in Sacramento, the real work will ultimately be here on the ground in Oakland, in Alameda. As we come together today, I think it's fair to say these are extraordinary times. A time of crisis for this nation and the global economy. A time of struggle for so many millions of families in our nation. But it's also a time of limitless possibility because we have a chance to throw away what was and again make a new form of economy, one of responsibility, one that looks not just at quarter by quarter returns, but what is long-term prosperity. And as I said just a moment again, a chance again to restore the American notion that if we have an economy in which everyone participates, in which there's a broad middle class, that's the real ticket to sustained economic progress in this country. And that's been a lost notion over the last 4 decades here in America. I come to you today as a fellow Californian. I come to you also today as chairman of the Apollo Alliance, which, as Nikki said, is a national coalition of labor, environmental, business, and social justice leaders from around the country, all who come from different walks of life and have a unique perspective on this nation, on our politics, but who all share a common goal, and that is a belief that we are at the cusp of a clean energy revolution. And if we do this right, we can end up with a clean energy, good jobs, made in America economy. We take our name, the Apollo Alliance, from America's first Apollo mission, which began in 1961 when President John F. Kennedy stood before this country and pledged to put a man on the moon by the end of the decade. It was a mission that we accomplished. It was a mission that lifted the spirits of this nation. It was a mission that mobilized inventors, scientists, innovators, hundreds of thousands of workers across this country. And it was a mission that ultimately produced a whole new wave of scientific discovery that has yielded benefits and wealth creation in this country for decades since the Apollo mission. We believe we're at a similar moment, that if we undertake a campaign of national purpose, if we say that it is our goal to free ourselves from fossil fuels, we can do it. There's no doubt we can do it. And as we gather today, it's obviously we got to do it, because this nation is now facing a set of converging challenges that some may see as overwhelming, but in fact are the elements that allow us to transform crisis into opportunity. Look at where we are today. We are a nation that is perniciously dependent on foreign oil. When oil was at its peak prices, and it will return, this nation was shipping